All right, we are live.
Yes, we are
Are we
live.
live now? Dude, this is exciting. I don't even have my notes up. Can you get us started? Do you have your notes up?
I do.
I
I
closed
do.
it on the way through here.
Well, welcome to episode 78 of the Drag Drive Repeat Show presented by Summit Racing. Tonight is going to be awesome. You guys are going to want to watch. You guys are going to need to share this so everybody else can see it as well. We have Chris Wozniak from WAF Racing on to tell stories of the Mopar Nationals and the craziest Duke Boy stunt ever. Then we've got the Havliks on to talk about the tribute race that we just got back from, which was awesome. Talk about the iconic cars, the races, announcing, attendance, everything. We're going to cover a ton of stuff. They plan on being on for a little while, and we got tons of photos to share. So, with that, we are going to go ahead and play the video and get the show started.
Sweet.
We're gonna pack things up and hit the road and try to make it the next day.
And I'm excited about tonight, dude. I'm telling you, this is going to be a great one. Guys, welcome again. Episode 78 of the Drag Drive Repeat Show, presented by Summit Racing. I'm your host, Mike Narks. I host this and the news that happens on Saturday mornings, most Saturday mornings. And Mr. Eric White, introduce yourself. Tell them who you are and what you've been up to, my man.
I am Eric White, the co host of both the show and the news. I just took like 3,000 some odd photos at the Havliks event, which we're going to see a bunch of them tonight. So, been busy with that. And I've been doing a lot more artwork for other races. So, I think we got
Oh,
some pictures to show of a couple that I've done recently. Do you want to pull them up quick?
oh yeah, let's do it for sure. The one of the first ones, yeah. Talk about the Back to the Streets because dude, that thing is so good.
Yep. So back to the streets. Matt reached out. I did the artwork, the racer profiles for him last year and asked if I wanted to do them again this year. And I said, of course. And he really had an idea of what he wanted. Took us a few times of back and forth for me to really see his vision, but I think it came out amazing. So you'll see pictures like this dropping for racers at Back to the Streets. And this one here I did for the Titans of 10-5 race that's going on at Tulsa Raceway Park. So
Yep.
just a couple of, I don't know, hero cards or art racer artwork, whatever you want to call it. But this is the kind of stuff that I've been doing kind of in the background between shows and everything.
Yeah, dude, it's been awesome to see your level of design just continue to increase, man. It's really awesome. So thank you for the stuff you've done for me on the Tulsa side, which is this is a big race that's coming up here soon, and they always have a good turnout. But man, anytime you know us, we're gonna try and show off some racers. We're gonna try and show off and talk about some of the stuff. So we've got that coming up, and you knocked it out of the park on the Titans of 10-5, and of course the Back to the Streets deal, dude.
Yeah.
Primo stuff there.
Yep, and I got to give Matt had an idea on what he wanted, and it looked great. So he
Yeah.
he gave me kind of a sample of what he wanted, and then I put the magic touches on it, and came out great. So I look forward to doing more of those as we get racers that have registered and get them in there. We'll start dropping them.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, well, let's get to it tonight, man. Guys, we can't do this without you. So it was so cool to see so many race car friends on our trip to Iowa. It was just awesome to hang out with everybody. We can't thank you enough for being part of this entire rocket ship that we call Drag Drive Repeat. And I'm telling you, we're taking it to the moon. We've got updates coming in the next few weeks. It's gonna be really fun. We're working on some processes and stuff to make things better and faster and get you guys more content. So for our race car friends, thank you so much for being around for so long. We appreciate you guys. And our sponsors can't do this, can't travel, can't do any of this stuff, can't buy the equipment we need without these guys. Summit Racing, Molly Motorsports, Driven Racing Oil, Car Change 3D, WAF Racing, who's on tonight, like you said earlier. Performer Built Transmissions. We need to have Ryan and his team on talking about Six Summer, dude. Howard's Cams, Sweet Patina, Racing Junk Classifieds, and Power Tube TV, which I'm actually recording for some stuff for tonight for Power Tube for the Southeast Gasser stuff. So kind of fun. That's continuing to grow and provide us more ways to show the drag and drive life. You know what I mean? Well,
Yes.
obviously, our title sponsor for the show and the news and our Drag and Drive Awards that happens at PRI is Summit Racing. Summit Racing Speed Legacy began in 1968 as a one-man startup and is now the world's speed shop. With 4 facilities and 200 plus catalog editions, they fuel your passion, they save you money, they deliver fast, and offer top-notch customer service for more than 1,500 brands. Make sure to download the Summit Racing mobile app for easy access to speed parts and find them on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram for all of your social media fun. Also, you can find them on the On All Cylinders podcast for more automotive discussions like what you're listening to tonight. From humble origins to the social media lane, Summit Racing stands by your need for speed. And if you haven't downloaded the app yet, you need to go to summitracing.com for all of your parts needs. Well, let's talk about some cool stuff, man. They had a post up the other day. Nope, we're going to leave it on the screen. So they had a post up the other day. Usually I put that post right here. I forgot to this time. We've been so busy. They had a post up says, "Have you ever had to reverse or remove a car mod?" And dude, this really made me think, man.
Yeah.
There's weekly in my life, there's not been a car stay around long enough to end up having the mod reversed. And the only one I can really think of is the windshield wipers on the old truck because I like the way a car looks without wipers. But as much as I intend to drive this thing when it comes back, it's getting wipers again. So
Yeah.
gonna need to do that. Even though they suck on that generation of truck, it's still gonna have to have something because I've been caught in the rain a few times with it, and it's a little sketchy. Even with
Yeah.
rain, because the window doesn't like because of the cowl that kind of comes over the top, the wind doesn't flow up, so it doesn't wash it over. So it's see if it's raining. What about you,
Yeah.
man?
Well, like you, I had to think about this one a lot. And honestly, this took me all the way back to my high school days. So you're going to get a kick out of this one. You know that I grew up in high school during the Fast and Furious
Yep.
movie kickoff, all that. So in high school, I had a Honda Civic and I went full Fast and Furious. It had Lambo doors, giant wing, neon lights, and I had that for quite some time. And at some point, I realized that wasn't what I wanted anymore, and removed all that stuff and went back to just a stock body and stock. Not Lambo doors, no neon light type
Wow.
stuff before. And then shortly after that, I ended up selling it. But
Yep.
yeah, that was
Because you didn't
that
like
was
it
a tough
anymore.
one.
You're like, this is boring.
Right, right. You kind of grow and you change and your tastes
Yep.
change but yeah, I couldn't think of anything more recent than that I've had to reverse or remove.
That's wild. Well, some of the other answers that were in there, Fred Kaufman said he said had to undo a driver mod a few times. I thought that was pretty funny. I definitely need some of that. Chris Villette said we converted a 69 Beetle to right hand drive, drove it for a few years and swapped it back to left hand drive. It's just not practical. I thought that was pretty funny. And then Mike Bagley said easy, too big diameter of exhaust pipes and free flowing mufflers. You know how that goes, man. I had
Yeah,
had an S10 Blazer in high school that had a V8 in it, and it had dual 3-inch. And back then they were chambered. Like they were named after their chambers on Flowmaster. So it's like a 2-chamber. So it's dual 3-inch straight dump with a H pipe in it. Man, it was so loud. You just couldn't even handle it. But as a 17-year-old kid, I loved it.
right.
Yeah.
Trackside Media's in here. If you guys haven't seen the photo that they just posted,
Yeah.
it's your new profile picture, and I just shared it as well. It's awesome. So thanks for
Yeah.
that. They took some great photos. So Be sure to check out all the photos that they're dropping as well.
Yep, Trackside Media just out there murdering it. All right, well, let's talk about the circuit and Sick the Mag, dude. I'm so excited about this. This is really, really exciting. I think it's going to help push the circuit event further forward because it's going to now have some stuff. Now, sadly, I'll just say it. Sadly, Eric's name was not in there. I do want to say this publicly. He was a big part of helping write the article, and he has some photos in the magazine as well. So, sadly, named credit in there didn't get there, but you know, they've made a post saying they apologize, and Luke has apologized profusely to you. But it's still kind of sad a little bit. It is a little sad that your name's not in there. But dude, I'm telling you, there's going to be plenty of opportunities because I think what you showed, they're going to be knocking at the door. Look at that,
See
man.
that cover photo, man.
Phew.
Freaking
Dude.
cover photo.
Here, hang on. I don't know why I still have this up. Hang on. Show that one more time. Yeah. Yeah. The centerfold shot there. If we were in high school, that's the page we'd have folded out for sure.
I don't know. I kind of might leave it folded out still.
That's pretty amazing.
Yep.
Go ahead. I'll let you.
So there, there is the photo. That's the photo from the circuit. That is the centerfold of the article. So, and then I just threw these in here. These are the photos that are in the magazine. So of course the Waffle House shot that's in there. Great shot there. This is a full page shot. It's on the next page. You can see that.
This is one of my favorite shots, maybe of all time.
Yep. Great shot there. And then a lot of these other ones are just smaller pictures on different pages, but these are all photos that are inside the magazine. So if anybody was wondering which photos were mine in there, these are the ones. Chris White, who I saw in the comments here a little bit ago. Obviously, Brian, and those are the ones that are in the magazine. So a bunch of cool photos. Great. What is it? About 4 or 5 pages, I think, for our section. So very cool. Definitely was cool to see all the photos in there, the article. So definitely check it out.
Appreciate them doing that, and I can't wait till we do that for 2025 and see it all again. So pretty exciting. All right, well, dude, if we're gonna get to this, man, we gotta get racking here. So I see the Havliks are backstage and Chris Wozniak is backstage. So let's run through the Driven Racing Oil stuff, event updates, and then we're gonna bring Chris on.
All right. Looks like you've got a new ad read in here for me, eh?
Yeah, dude. Want to switch it up on you?
All right. Driven Racing Oil is the performance engine oil that can do it all. GP1 is the ultimate oil for any race or performance application, whether launching hard at the drag strip, enduring the extreme heat of off-road and circle track, or pushing limits in top fuel drag boats and demo derbies. Winning racers choose GP1. Compatible with engines from classic hot rods to cutting-edge race machines. GP1's unique surface cling and high zinc formulation ensures superior wear protection, particularly for flat tappet camshafts, while solving issues like cylinder washout and methanol or ethanol fuels. Crafted from the legendary Bradford, Pennsylvania base oil and enhanced with state-of-the-art additive packages, GP1 offers the best in protection and performance. So be sure to check out Driven Racing Oil on Facebook and Instagram at Driven Racing Oil, or head over to drivenracingoil.com to get your Driven Racing Oil.
Yeah, great stuff. And I just saw before I came out here that Driven Racing Oil is going to start a live stream as well. So they're going to be talking about in-depth, technical, all the nerdy stuff that you could want to know about oils. They're going to be having that within the Driven Racing Oil, YouTube and Facebook and all that kind of stuff. So that's awesome for them. I'm excited. All right, just wanted to remind everybody we are going to be at PRI 2024. Booth 4904. Put it on your schedule right now. If you're attending PRI, you've got to get out there. This is going to be a great location and a great year. I'm telling you already, there's a lot of fun stuff that's happening. I want to give a big shout out to Travis Wise at Revved Up Laser Works. He's taking care of us big time on some of the coolest trophies I think we will have ever given out. And his his eye is great for stuff like that. Dragway Rush just posted their schedule for next weekend, the August 23rd through 24th. Friday driver meeting 10 a.m. at Grand Bend, racing from 10 to 2. The ET submission booth opens at 1. Then you're driving to St. Thomas drag strip, wherever that's at. I don't think it's very far, but that track is open from 6 to 10. So same day racing. I love that. That was kind of first seen at Southeast Street Meet, and I'm telling you, it's a whole different aspect. Then after you make your passes there, you're back to Grand Bend for racing Saturday morning, or Saturday, I guess, 12 to 4 racing starts, and then the awards after that. So super cool. I love the 2 tracks. I can't wait to see some of the content that comes out of that event as well. And then Bryant Goldstone obviously went to the Havliks deal, and just, I mean, that dude's on a run this year.
Yes.
He is kicking butt. He did tell us while we were there that he is coming to reset the Ultimate Iron Class ET record, which is currently at 674, which was set by him in 2023. The top 5 quickest averages in that class are Bryant Goldstone.
Wow.
Since 2016. I mean, like, crazy. So 16, 17. So what, 9 years, he's held 5 of the top times. Absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
The battle to watch at Drag Week is going to be for the 850 points champion. Now, there's other racers that are able to get there that are going to be at Rocky Mountain Race Week or Redwood Rally, but I'm telling you, Drag Week is going to be the one that could determine it, because we already have Randy Seward in first place with 73 points, and then Brian Acton in second place with 72 points, tied with Guy Pertano. Now, Guy Pertano is in a different class, but his ETs fall in between that 850 and 10-0 champion points window, right? So this should be, that whole week is going to be absolutely nuts. That week is going to be nuts. There won't be an event that will have the level of points availability that will be as important as those 3 that week.
Yeah.
So there are national events after that, but they're not going to, I'm telling you, this is going to be the one. Redwood Rally has a YouTube channel. Saw that today. Super cool.
Wow.
I'm excited for them. Yes, so you guys are going to have to go follow that. If it's going to be anything like what their social media is, it's going to be killer. So one of the first videos they put out, the one I watched today, is them driving the route in the Mustang, and then this hot rod that Jesse Adams built. So they make it like 20 miles, and they're working on a couple different things. But look at how this rocker arm broke on Heather's Mustang.
Holy cow.
I've never seen one do that. So
That's
yeah, pretty
wild.
wild. Yeah, it's a great video to watch. They basically run the whole drive. They break down on the side of the road. They really get their feel for the drag and drive lifestyle. So definitely go follow that Redwood Rally on YouTube.
Very cool.
Yeah. And then back to the streets. Obviously we talked about that earlier, you being involved in it, but Matt posted up made a post about a trailer class being added, and dude, people lost their minds. And
Yes.
then it was like this wave of like, well, it's probably not too bad to have some no prep trailer cars there, to have it just their own race. And so it was kind of fun to watch that kind of throughout the day, take that, wow, what are you doing? To like,
Yeah.
maybe that's not too bad. So pretty fun. He did send me a message, say he is adding the no prep trailer class, which is fine, because he feels like it's going to get some of those no prep guys to make their cars drag and drive cars. Because I mean, obviously we know the camaraderie is there, and those guys have never really had an opportunity to race 4 different tracks in 4 days. So I think you're going to see, my thought is, there's going to be somebody make the switch, and about halfway through the weekend is going to be like, I can drive that 70 miles in my no prep car. Somebody give me some regular OT tires. I'll make that drive. So I think we're going to see that, which is going to be kind of fun.
Yeah, and we talk all the time, with trying to get bracket racers in to drag and drive. This is just the next step of racers to bring in. If we're going to have some no prep drag and drives, why not get some of the no prep guys to convert cars and drive on the street? So I think it makes sense. But yeah, like you mentioned, the craze for like, don't you think about it? That's the worst decision ever. To, okay, it's a separate class. Maybe that'll be all right. Was wild to see.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. Moving on, next up here, 66 is it's back open registration to the public. They have reached out to all the waitlisters. Hey, are you able to come? They are through the wait list. They are through registration. If you want to do this, this is going to be a good one. This is going to be a good one to be at. This is going to be a lot of fun. This one makes me think of when I did the power tour, and Chris can probably talk to this later. Power tour, you can buy daily passes. So are we going to, with an event like this, could you almost have done that to where guys could catch in like day 3 through day 6, day 1 through 5? You could almost buy a day pass. So, kind of throwing that out there for Sick the Mag, that may not be a bad idea for an event like this. That's one direction that is, it would allow guys to kind of make that loop. So again, adding to the mix here. We're just always trying to figure out how to grow the community. All right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Eric is actually looking at some flights. Maybe I'm trying to get him to fly into XNA and ride up to Springfield and then fly home on Sunday. So he doesn't have to burn any more vacation time so he can have it for PRI.
Yeah.
PRI and drag week, I guess. So, all right, let's bring Chris on and talk about some WAF racing. Cause dude, this man right here went to the Mopar Nationals over the weekend, and the one thing I want to know first, introduce yourself, and then tell everybody what did you take a cool car with you? What'd you do up there?
Well, unfortunately, I caught COVID last week, so I did not take the CUDA because I was under the weather, healing up. So we hopped in the easy to drive Hellcat and cruised up there. With intentions to cover the event for Mopar Connection magazine. There's going to be a little write-up for them. And then the drag and drive car we're building behind us, the 70 Satellite that's in pieces. It does run and drive. On the hunt for some parts for it. On the hunts for some parts for some buddies' cars. Mopar stuff isn't easily found on Facebook and around every corner. So when you go to these Mopar-only shows, we scoured the swap meet is one of the most fun parts. Besides seeing them smash up some cars, jumping them, but
hang on, you mean this right here, all of those parts?
Yeah, there's tons of stuff. I ended up hauling parts back for 3 different buddies, and transmissions over there, Passing Performance. We were meeting with them because they're going to build the 4-speed for this Roadrunner behind me. With we're going to try to get the most out of a Mopar 4-speed with cryogenically treated gears and Hemi 18 spline and put shaft and all the good stuff. And they're going to build it with us. So a little bit of prepping for the car and just hanging out and just seeing a lot of cool cars.
Well, dude, let's talk about Eric. Do you want to play the video that Chris sent real quick so everybody can see the craziest Duke Boy stunt ever?
Yep.
Ow. That makes me hurt. Just like when that thing hits the ground, it's just,
oh man.
Yeah.
From my vantage point, I thought he was going to land on the wall and it was going to go bad. But yeah, it's a hard hit. AMD, who we're hanging out with them because they provided all the metal for this car.
Nice.
They are the ones that sponsor the Duke stuff. They provide all the metals that to continue to rebuilding those. They're all Ford Crown Vics that they're jumping.
Oh, nice.
With brand new sheet metal on them from AMD to build them in.
Well, the front end was jacked when he come down.
Oh man,
it's that concrete wall. Great, man. Great.
I think they jumped over 200 feet. I mean, I was expecting like a small ramp and it being out in the grass somewhere. And when I saw him setting it up on the racetrack, I mean, it is up there.
Yeah, that's like I don't know how many rows you're up, 6 or 8 for sure, and it's higher than you are. Like that's pretty intense. The son did make a post. What did he say? He said, here's an update on my dad. We had a really hard landing, as you all could imagine. He's in good spirits and he's laughing and joking around with the crew, but he is very sore from the really hard landing. I'm sure it will take a couple weeks for the whiplash to go away. What the hell? He wants to thank our crew and the fans for the support. Also, a big thanks to the Mopar Nationals for having us. And last but not least, thank you to Auto Metal Direct, AMD. The jump wouldn't have been possible without them. Dude, that dude's an animal.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And I mean, I feel like National Trails Raceway's got to have a divot in the track or two or something.
Man.
But hey, not my problem.
We'll know in about a month when we go there for drag week.
Oh man,
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, for people who've never been, it's a big swap meet, big car show. They've got a bunch of for guys that are into like the concourse restorations where every little paint mark is correct on them. There's that, and there's judging. That's not my thing. I hack everything up. There's drag racing the whole time. They've got a bunch of different classes, so there's a lot of cool cars racing the whole time. They've got a burnout competition, the Dukes, jump, vendor alley, and just a ton of cars just parked and hanging out. That monster truck that was there was in the car corral for sale. And then it also entered the burnout competition, which I wish I would have been close enough to get a video, but they melted the tires off the back of that monster truck. It was ridiculous.
Wow.
That's impressive. I mean, what are those, like 50-inch tires or something crazy? 70-inch tires. Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Some Cummins diesel won the burnout competition. I swear he did a burnout for 5 minutes, just sitting there, just destroying the tires. And then a couple puffs of black smoke out of the stacks in the back every once in a while to make it look like a swirl in the sky.
Nice. What is this thing here?
Because that is a 68 Roadrunner.
I'm loving this setup here
with a pro-charged old school Hemi in it.
Yes, that's sweet.
Oh, dude, that's cool.
Yeah, that and the build quality was
nice. Just by the firewall work there. That's like the Havliks type stuff there. And then I saw the is this a Ram Charger? I guess
it's actually a Plymouth Trail Duster, which is the Plymouth version of the Ram Charger. You don't see a lot of those.
Yeah.
Wow.
How cool.
Swap meet. Panel van was in the burnout competition. There's Superbirds there. The 70 Coronet purple car in the top right is just. That was just a cool shot of all the funky under the hood air intake stuff Mopar used to do back in the day. There's so much variation and funky stuff that they did back in the 60s and 70s. It's fun to see it when it's all intact.
Right. That's awesome. Well, the biggest question, did you have fun and are you going back?
We had fun. I will go back. Unfortunately, outside of Columbus, Ohio, where it used to be absolute shenanigans at night, is absolutely shut down. The police want no part of that and have police like every half a mile from the whole stretch from Buckeye Lake up to the racetrack. And they kind of killed the cruising and shenanigans. But there was a Dodge dealership good enough to set up grandstands in their parking lot with barriers and allow a public burnout competition that every random person that must have lived in the Columbus area who wanted to melt their tires off was going through that burnout.
Some dude in a V6 Dodge Dakota just out there killing that one tire.
Anything you could imagine was burning the tires off in the parking lot. We left Columbus with a ticket for aggressively accelerating, apparently. So a little fine on the way out, but it's a good event. Next year, myself and a bunch of buddies are all building cars. We have so many parts that we want to go and just sit in the swap meet with a trailer full of parts and sell stuff and drink beer. I think that's the plan next year. Yeah,
I can't say I blame you. Well, dude, I want to say thanks for coming on tonight. What's your next event? What do you got coming up next?
Working feverishly on the CUDA to get it ready for 666. The gear vendor is going in next. We took it to the track last night for the first time to kind of its first shakedown passes, just 8th mile racing. Putting different suspension on it. I built the little trailer for it tonight, and it's mocked up behind the car right now so I can finish the trailer hitch design.
Nice.
We're putting a Moser rear end in it with 391 gears coming up and trying to race at Moparty in the middle of September as the, final dial in before 666 in October. But I'm really working hard to not have a stressful couple of weeks leading up to 666 because it seems like every event I do, it's like the night before I'm still stressed out working on stuff. And I really don't want that.
Everybody has that problem. Everybody has that problem.
So my goal is to have like everything pretty well sorted by Moparty, which is in a month from today, middle of September. Yep. So then like from there on, my girlfriend and I can just argue about how to pack the trailer and all that sort of stuff.
I dig it, man. Well, thanks again for coming on tonight. We appreciate it. And we'll see you. I know I'll certainly see you at 666. I need your help peer pressuring Eric into flying down and doing some of this, dude.
Hey, I'm probably going to lose my passenger in Albuquerque. She'll probably have to fly home. So I'll be looking for someone to fly in because I'm going to continue on to the West Coast, I think, and then turn around and drive home.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, we were trying to figure out how to get Eric one day of use of vacation. He'd just blow it all with that one. So
there you go.
All right, man. We'll see you soon.
Thanks for having me on. See you guys.
Bye. Man, like that dude a bunch, and he's so smart. You know,
Yep.
I think sometimes it probably hurts his brain talking to me. He's so smart. Well, let's move on to the Molly Motorsports segment here and run through that because I know those guys are the Havliks are sitting in Bob Rieger's 57 right now. So we saw Eric obviously at the Fastest Streetcar Shootout. That was a lot of fun. Just randomly spotted that dude. Was like, well, I'm so glad he's here. So Eric is obviously our contact for Molly Motorsports, and again, one of the smartest folks we talk with. So I sent him an email asking about his experience and kind of, and this is what he had to say. He said, "I'm absolutely glad I went. I was a freshman in high school in 1992, so that area falls right into my formidable years when there was a hot rod or car craft tucked between every textbook." He said, "To see some of those cars come off the page and make passes was quite the trip." He said the Cars Incorporated duo was the standout for him. He said, but I've always been partial to first gen Camaros. He said his favorite part was the exhibition passes. Again, just to see those cars run. I don't know if it was planned, but when they started making the full quarter-mile passes later in the day, that was an unexpected bonus. I thought that was super cool. It's a lot of fun. And then he says, but I greatly enjoyed the contrast to today's drag and drive cars. Could you ask for better representation than the first round of Unlimited with Goldstone and Frost making side by side 6-second, 200 plus mile an hour passes? In reality, the entire field put on a great show with multiple personal bests, the showmanship, and some, new to me, cars making surprisingly quick passes. He said the Havliks, Tri-State, and their teams put together a fantastic event, and I certainly hope we'll see it again down the road. So, thanks to Eric for answering that stuff. I appreciate that. And man, I'm telling you, I was pumped about the event. It was a lot of fun, and I can't wait to hear the stories they're going to tell. If you guys haven't seen it, there is a video coming out of Jason Hurley's 200 mile an hour pass, or sorry, 6-second pass. And I basically chronicle every time I talk to him, all that kind of stuff. It actually drops at 8 p.m. Eastern tonight. So for the folks that are watching this later, you should be able to see it right now on our YouTube channel. So this is going to be a good one here. I'm excited about this video. I'm excited for him. Him being able to do that is awesome, and he runs Molly Pistons in that car, so it's super cool.
I'm going to hit that video quick.
I think we'll probably skip it because we're a little later than what I wanted to start with the Havliks. So let's run through. Obviously, want to thank Molly for being a part of the program here. I love those guys. Love what they do. Love what they do for the drag and drive community and all that kind of stuff. I think we probably thank our race car friends again, and then bring the Havliks on. So if you want to do that.
All right. Like always, guys, we want to thank you guys, everybody in here making comments. Doug here saying he made his best pass there at 865, 163 in his 88 Mustang. Again, everybody in here making comments. You guys keep us going. We love seeing you guys at the events like the Havliks Shootout. And of course, we can't do it without our sponsors, Summit Racing, Driven Racing Oil, Molly Motorsports, Car Chains 3D, WAF Racing, Performer Built Transmission, Howard's Cams, Sweet Patina, Racing Junk, and PowerTube TV. And then we've got
Gentleman's Agreement. Gotta love that. You go ahead and do that one. I'll get me one more drink. I got this fan.
And our gentleman's agreement, of course, that's saying that we need you guys to like, subscribe, share all of our stuff out to everybody so we can grow this community. The gentleman's agreement is if you guys do that, then we will continue to do shows, cover events, everything that we do. We will continue to do that. We just ask for you to do the likes, comments, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff for us.
Yeah. Yeah, we can't do it without you. I'll do the PowerTube ad read if you're all right with that.
Yep.
All right, rev up your engines with PowerTube TV, the ultimate destination for automotive entertainment. Stream for free on the web, Roku, mobile apps, and more. Catch replays of our shows, us right here, and exclusive content from other top creators, featuring classics like Pinks and Pastime. You love that show. Plus original new shows that are coming out. I'm excited about seeing some of those. PowerTube TV isn't just a platform, it's a community. You can also join the Content Creator Development Program and be part of something special like us. Find more at watchpttv.com. Thank you to PowerTube for giving us opportunity. Again, I host the Southeast Gassers Association 2024 season show that's on there. So I'm excited to be able to do that.
Oh yeah.
The Howard's Camp community segment. This obviously is one of our Luke B is one of our favorite people in all of the automotive aftermarket, and this segment really comes down to a lot of community notes. And I think the interview tonight or the conversation tonight, it's not even an interview, this is a conversation tonight with the Havliks is going to be a blast. So if you'll hit the intro video, we'll kick this thing off.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Harris from the Monoxide Podcast. Real quick, Howard's Cams was founded as a racing cam manufacturer almost 80 years ago when Howard Johansson created Howard's Power and Racing Equipment in 1945. Howard's Cams has always used on-track experience to design the most powerful designs, and today they have an even greater group of experienced racers in circle track, drag racing, road race, mud bog, and marine. They use all this input plus the most advanced computer software to design the most competitive race-winning products. From pioneers in drag racing and oval track to cutting-edge marine development, Howard's Cams is at the forefront of the industry. So make sure to reach out to our friend, Luke B, for your next valve train upgrade.
All right, dude. Thank you to Harris from Monoxide for doing that. And hey, behind the scenes, I've been working on some other folks to do some of the ad reads for us as well. So people don't just have to listen to our voice the whole time.
There we go.
Right. Well, let's move into some of this stuff here. I do want to talk before we bring them on. I want to talk about Bob Rieger's 57, and I want to play the quick video because it's probably going to make those dudes blush, and then we'll bring them on after that. So if you'll hit that video for us, we'll knock this out.
All right.
Hi, my name's Mike Hayden. I live in Fallbrook, California, which is on the north side of San Diego County.
Oh, wow. That's a long trip coming here to Iowa.
It was a long ride, 30 hours straight. We bonsai'd up here to the Havliks place because they said, Mike, you need to have this car here, and we'll help you get it. And put it up on the rack, and I said, well, let's go.
That's awesome.
And we started working on it. And then Annette told me about the Havlik deal, and they're going to bring all these old cars. Go, Mike, you got to try. And I said, okay. So we worked really hard, sorted through everything, had kind of a game plan, but I called them and I realized I wasn't going to make it. I just couldn't. It was just too much to do. Every single thing needed redone. We started by painting the chassis because it was all beat up, and it was just kind of like a restoration.
It was all apart, yeah.
Yeah, totally. And then they called me and
I want to thank you.
he said, I had a conversation with Brian, and I told him I wasn't going to make it. And then he called me back in an hour. He said, Mike, if you get that car up here somehow with all the parts, we'll help you put it together.
Oh, man.
Even if you have to go back home and we have to do a lot of it here, we'll help you. We want that car here. And I went, son of a gun. Who would do that?
Yeah.
Who would do that? Packed up everything, 3 in the morning. My wife and I left San Diego area, and we drove straight through to them. Frankly, I was worried about parking anywhere and getting the car stolen. I didn't want that to happen. Well, hey, here it is, running and driving, and I'm going to see if it'll do a burnout today.
Dude, I'm telling you, the video that's coming out from that interview with him is like 7 minutes long. So
How cool.
I'm kind of excited about this and the stuff that's going to come out from that. Well, let's bring these guys in here because we definitely want to hear the story about that car and what you guys did to get it ready. So lead us in, guys. Just who you are, and we all know where you're from. But
I'm Jess Havlik,
I'm Brian Havlik.
and we're cousins.
Not brothers.
We're brothers, whatever. But in the end, we actually are cousins.
Just
Nice.
clear that up.
Nice. I think I've probably said that a few times.
Oh yeah, it happens all the time. No biggie. He's the brother I never had.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, you guys spend a lot of time together. I'm sure that's the it's brotherly love at that point, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Well, guys, tell us what you're sitting in, and then I want to hear the updates on this because you hinted at it in our message. It was like, hey, there's something really cool happening with this car, and we'll tell you on the show. And then I want to hear how this whole thing came about.
Yeah. You want to start?
Yeah. Obviously, we're sitting in Bob Rieger's car, which is owned by Mike Hayden at this point. We couldn't think of a better spot to sit for this. This has been quite a thrash to get it going. When we met Mike, you could just tell he was an awesome guy, which a lot of these racers are that way. And it's been great to make a lifelong friend and help him with his car to get it done. I mean, the car needed to be there, of course, but in the end, it was done to help him also to achieve his goal to get it there and get it running again.
Yeah, super cool. And to hear him, I mean, there's a whole other minute and a half of him talking very highly of you guys and kind of how that process came together. And he came up, dropped the car off, but he said it was a thrash just to get it kind of in the same area, like get the motor in and all that kind of stuff to get it to you guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he had a lot of stuff that he wanted to kind of get in it. The motor needed to go in and stuff. I think by the time we told him, to bring it, it was probably at least a week, before he got it all kind of together, loaded up. I mean, we burned a week with all that, and then we still had, I think, right at 2 weeks to get it the rest of the way together. And honestly, when it showed up, when I first looked at it, I was like, oh boy. But we got our magic wands out and we got her done.
Yeah, I think you said magic hands wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
we had a lot of help. Good family, friends. It was a team effort for sure.
And my dad was up here working late in the afternoons all day, every day, helping out as much as he could. He left for vacation for a week, and then as soon as he got back, he was here to help again. So, I mean, he was all about it.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome to have that kind of thrash come through, because at the same time, you guys were thrashing on other stuff.
Yeah.
You're also putting on one of the biggest events of the year in the middle of all that. So walk us through some of that.
And put Justice Motor back on. In the middle of all of that.
So yeah, I mean, planning the event, got my car back up and running, putting the 57 back together, dealing with just regular shop stuff, trying to keep up on all that stuff. I mean, it was, there was many days I don't remember what I did all day, because by the time you got home, you were just done and back at it by 6 o'clock in the morning again.
18 and 20-hour days there for most of them.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask, was what was the daytime? What were the times like? So what's next for Bob's car?
Well, he wants to get running like it used to be. Just getting into our race was kind of just to have it moving again was a big feat in itself. But Mike's committed. This is actually going to be in our booth at PRI to promote 2025's Havliks Fastest Streetcar Shootout tribute. So
breaking news right there. Are y'all hearing that? How cool is that?
We're actually going to keep this here at our shop. There's some things we didn't get to. We need to adjust some things, get everything that we can do done. And Mike's going to fly into PRI with us in the booth. And then after the show, he's going to haul us all the way back to California. They're going to put it on the hub dyno and actually get everything right. It has different injectors, different turbos. So he didn't feel comfortable, beating on it without any testing, obviously. So there's a few things different that it needs to be tuned. And it's actually, we got the original Motec box in it. And we tried to keep everything as original as we could. And so Annette Summer sent that box from South Carolina to California So he had a box that worked, and then he drove it all the way to us. So this box has been all around the country trying to get this thing going, which is pretty wild.
Well, that's pretty awesome. So I want everybody to understand like what just happened. Like you just broke the news that, of course we know you're going to be at PRI, but that car is going to be in your booth and that there's a 2025 Hot Rods by Havliks Fastest Streetcar Tribute Reunion race. That's
it gets better than that. He wants to have this. Mike wants to have this there in competition form to actually lay down the law.
Oh, what? Yes,
that's
cool.
So
that is
he promised me to drive it. I just want to get that out to everybody. He said when we take it back to California and get it tuned and everything, then we're going to come out there and I'm going to get the yank on these levers.
Wow. Well, one thing he did tell me, and I don't know if he told you guys this or not, but that was like the first burnout he had done. I think he said since 08.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
something like that. He said it had been a minute since he had been in a car, and so he was trying to like go over all the stuff. The video is really good. He talks about street racing and where the car sat for so many years, and Ed Thornton drove it, and all this kind of really cool stuff. It's going to be a good one. I should have it ready Friday.
Well, it's got a lot of history. The car's been raced. It hasn't been babied by no means its whole life. It was very short lived with Bob Rieger, because he built that S10 after this. But I mean, Mike and his son raced this for a while. It's got a lot of special memories to Mike, and I think it was big to see this going again. I mean, like the radio, like we posted something on there about the car being back and it's coming out, and somebody commented on the post, and they're like, I remember he did this big burnout and then threw the doors open, and he's backing up with the radio crank, bat of the bone on it and stuff, and the crowd just went wild. Well, Mike and his son used to work on this car with that radio and that CD stuck in there playing all the time. So like when we put that in there and it played, like I swear there was almost a tear there. Like it was pretty cool moment. I wish we would have caught it on camera, really.
That's
when Brian made that reel when it first came and we unloaded it, I mean, he just put that together, and I mean, that song just seemed fitting from what Brian said, and we had no idea that the Bad to the Bone whole theme was there, and that was kind of just cool how it just kind of attracted itself back to that song. So
how cool. Well, it was interesting, or it was cool to see you as the backup dude getting the car backed up. And then one thing, I don't know, Brian may even be sitting on them, is the speakers on the floor.
Yep.
That's why we didn't turn the radio on.
That's funny. Yep. He said, no thanks. I don't need that kind of party tonight. Super cool car, man, and a great story. I love it. I think one thing that's great about this entire event is like I would say like my generation, I'm probably younger, obviously younger than a lot of the guys that were reading Carcraft. I mean, I was reading Carcraft and Hot Rod when these cars were out in the early 90s, but like I didn't turn 16 till the late 90s. So by then the movement was in full swing and some of these cars had kind of gone away, but it was all just magazine stuff. So to see all of that was really cool for me, but I can only imagine the guys that are 8 or 10 years older than me, like this was an event to end all events for them.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's how all this started for us. I mean, the videos from back in the day of, like when they first came out, that was like, we wore them VHS tapes out. And then as soon as we could get out of school, I mean, we were heading to the finals down in Memphis. I mean, we had no right to be there. We were like fresh out of high school, totally did not know what we were getting into. And, we didn't have anything reliable. And like my mom had just got this brand new Monte Carlo SS, and I hope she's not listening. But it was like brand new, and we packed 5 dudes in there, and we no GPS or anything at that time. We just went south. We just headed to Memphis, and we drove all the way through the night. Got there, and then Jess and I were the only ones that went to the track because everybody was so tired. But we went and watched it all, and like we got every minute of it the whole weekend.
Awesome.
It was so awesome.
And to touch on that a little bit, I mean, at this event that we just put on, out of the 5 of us that were there, 4 of us were at this event still. We're still all friends. One of them we don't associate or talk to or see anymore, but Caleb, that owns CalCam AP, flying the drone, he was one of us that was with us also. So,
dude, that's so cool.
When we went to Memphis, we went to the first hotel we could find, not knowing. I mean, we're 17, 18 years old.
No reservations.
No reservations. Going to Memphis of all places. You walk into this hotel and there's ducks swimming in the entry.
Oh, the Peabody, nice stuff, man.
We're all dirty from driving all night long, and we walk in there and they look at us like, yeah, we don't have no room. That's exactly what they told us.
We couldn't find any because there's some big, I don't know, something else was going on.
Yeah.
So we actually had to drive back to Arkansas. We stayed in Arkansas because we drove around all day after driving around all night and couldn't find a hotel.
Oh,
so we gave up.
Man, that's wild.
It was an experience.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you didn't have that problem this time.
No.
Well, tell us how this whole thing kind of got started. How does this event even begin to come to shape?
Well, I think obviously 97 when we went to Memphis, that was the start of it. We followed the stuff, we've watched the stuff, we've all been through that. But those people inspired us to do what we do today. And me and Brian actually have had conversations about doing this for a long time. But we just, how do you run a shop? How do you put on an event? You got life gets in the way, stuff like that. But at the end of it, we were at PRI last year, and Tri-State, our home track, comes and visits with us, and they're like, hey, we got an open weekend. You guys want to put something on, like a little heads up race or something? And we were like, yeah, we'll meet with you when we get back and talk about it. And we did. And, we kind of talked about it at PRI a little bit. And
January.
Yeah, that was January when we met, when we got back. And they made the statement that you can do whatever you want. I mean, when we went into the meeting, we thought, we'll just do a little local heads up race, kind of something quick and fun. And but then they said, you can do whatever you want. Well, when you tell me and Brian that we can do whatever we want, you better look out, because by the time they walked out that door, we were already calling Alan Jean, Racetronics, and he's the one that runs the tribute page on Facebook.
Fastest Streetcar tribute page.
Yeah, and we called him, and the plans were already in motion at that point.
We were giggling like little kids, like as soon as them guys left, like it's really gonna happen.
Well, and that's one of my questions was like, how does that brainstorm session go? Like obviously, let's say it's Friday. I don't know what day it was when they came to you, but say it's Friday, for the next 4 hours, that's all you talk about. Oh man, they want us to do an event. Okay, what are we going to do? Oh, I know what I want to do. Well, how do we get that? How do we do that? Okay, Alan, hey, yeah, let's do, I think that's what I enjoy the most. Is
I think
figure it out.
For the most part, I think we had brainstormed it already.
Yeah,
what we wanted to do, because we've talked about it so many times. It's not that the history's been forgotten, but it's like it's just never been showcased. They didn't have social media, they didn't have the internet back then, so all these iconic people didn't get some of the recognition that you see that everybody gets today, because it's easier.
But just as impressive.
Yeah.
And
it needed to be supported, it needed to be showcased. And so I think past conversations, we already knew what we wanted to do. It was just how do we do it. And talking to Alan Jean, he kind of pointed us in the right direction a little bit. And there wasn't much brainstorming, because by the end of the following week, we had built a whole race on paper, classes, rules, everything. I mean, it was nonstop.
It was intense for a few days. Like, how do we do this? Making calls, and like, we're not promoters, so like, it was a crash course, believe me.
Dude, I can't imagine this being your crash course.
I mean, pretty much, you're talking February. February is when we really got it out there and got it going. So, I mean, you're talking 6 months to execute and put all this together on top of rebuilding everything. Looking back now, we had our capes on, really. Those Superman capes are out. But, a big part of this, though, like from the start, was like, we had the idea, like, this is what we want to do, but how do we get these old cars back out? I mean, how do we get we want to see them. I mean, they're why we build our cars. How we did was off these cars. Well, Keith Roberts is a good friend of ours, former sick week co-pilot. My best week ever actually in the car was with Keith Roberts in there, and that was a trip to get him back into it after his bad accident, where he got burned several years ago, and that's a whole another story. But like sick week was like when we were coming back, like getting him back out there. I mean, he loved it. We became friends over the internet, and somehow it just escalated that. And he went with us, had a blast, called up Tony Christian. Tony Christian came to the track, kicked us off the first day down at Bradenton, the first sick week in 2022. I mean, it was like, is this for real? Like, I mean, the sick week to begin with was like an awesome atmosphere. And then like to have Tony Christian come there and like, he actually accused me. He's like, don't be able to hump my leg when Keith called him. I'm like, geez, he's a character. Like, man, I wish more people got to talk to him because you never knew it was coming out of this guy's mouth. Like, it was hilarious.
That's awesome.
But
so
yeah.
was it hard getting a hold of the original owners of some of the cars to get them to come out?
Yeah, I mean, to touch back on the Keith thing, we started with him. He's got like the collection of iconic cars, especially the Tri-5. So like, I called Keith, we told him what we were doing, and it's like, do you want to do this? Because like, we felt like with Keith behind us, we could get enough excitement that this might actually happen, and then Keith committed and gave us the green light to go, and like we ran. I mean, and then we just started calling. Like, I mean, I remember a lot of the old drivers. I searched Facebook, Racers Reach Racers. It spread like backwoods wildfire, like it did. I mean, across the country. And we called everybody we could, messaged them. There's some that we didn't get a hold of that this year going forward. Like, I'd love to see some of these other guys show up.
Yeah, and I mean, it got to the point where honestly we didn't have to call them once the word spread too. I mean, a lot of people started calling here, wanting to know about it, said they heard about it, and I've talked to this guy and that guy. So I mean, these guys all still talk to each other. Some of them live, blocks away from each other still, and they still all communicate. And so it was easy for some of it to spread, and it literally, I mean, it was just like the first event, I mean, it just spread between them, and they all came. I mean,
yeah, I mean, the spread on the field was like, I mean, it's all across the country in Canada, I mean,
Yeah.
Dang near got every state. I haven't looked at it, but I mean, it was close for registered drivers. So, but
was there certain people or certain cars that were like must-haves that you guys wanted to get at the event?
All of them.
Yeah,
we wanted them all. I mean,
we still do.
I don't think there's one of them iconic cars that's more iconic than any of them. I mean, maybe if you dig into the stats and stuff, but if you think about it, all these cars back then were staples of that history, no matter what they did, and the drivers that drove them were. I mean, they're all the ones that got us all to do what we do now that we call drag and drive.
Yeah.
I mean, it started with a 30-mile cruise on a race, and then it turned into a 1,000-mile drive with a 5-day race. I mean, it's progressed from there.
And pulling a trailer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the trailer build outs now have become one of the coolest things to watch too,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I mean, like the passion's there. Like, I mean, I start calling these people and telling them what is going on. Keith is like, he was like, I got your back. I'm there. Like, so like I called Annette, and she was just floored. I mean, we couldn't have caught her at the worst possible time. She's moving, building a new shop, bought a pro mod. It's gonna do some nostalgia pro mod racing. And like we spring this on her, and she's like, and you could tell it hit her in the heart. Like I could tell, like, I mean, I knew from the first conversation with Annette she was coming. She wouldn't admit it because she didn't know if she could make it, but like I could feel the fight through the phone with her. I mean, like
That's awesome.
she was hit with it, and I mean, all these drivers, including Annette, like you got to remember, these cars have been on jack stand since '96, or hers has since '96. Well, those guys only had 4 months to get cars ready.
Yeah.
You know, by the time they got contact and actually got the ball rolling, and I mean, Keith had 4 cars to try to get running that haven't been running forever. And you know, the Vincent brothers with Marlon Chevelle and his brother or
Matt and
Mark, you know, I mean, they helped out with getting that going. And then Matt's Fairlane, like I got a picture of that where as soon as he found out about it, he wrote our race in their 2024 and then in the dust and left it there. And it was there. And he showed me that the awards and had me take a picture of it. I was like, no way. I mean, that right there. I mean, those guys, I mean, they busted their tails, all of them. Like, I mean,
and they did that for our race. And, you know, I mean, that's something special that we feel, you know, that it's pretty amazing that we can put something on and get everybody hyped up to where they're going to do whatever it takes to get this done and come to this little shop in Iowa that we call home. And, you know, I mean, we're nobody. Maybe we are to somebody, but at the end of the day, we're just 2 guys in Iowa that have a shop, and we decided to put on a race. And I mean, we can't thank all them enough for what they did.
Yeah,
they made it.
Yeah.
Well, one thing about Annette, there was there's like several comments during the live stream or on Facebook, and people are like, that looks like Annette's Camaro, man, how cool. And then there'd be like 2 or 3 people in behind saying, that is Annette's Camaro.
Yeah.
So for you guys, is that really cool to you to have that feeling to know, like I mean, dude, 96, that's 30 years ago almost.
Yeah. It's unreal. I mean, we're living our dream working on the cars that we idolized as kids. I mean, I stood by this. I mean, this Rieger shirt back here, that's mine. I bought, must have been 99 in Joliet, standing right next to this car. And now I'm growing, you know, I'm older and we worked on it and got it going.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like, that's pretty big if that's like your passion, you know. I mean, like that's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Honored to be a part of it all. I mean, it's hard to put into words, really. You know.
Well, I'd like to thank our race car friends real quick, and then I want to talk about getting Keith's cars together and what all you guys had to do for that. So hang on just with me just a second real quick. I guess I just want to say thanks to everybody that's out there. Please hit the share button while we're doing this. This is one of the coolest conversations we'll have probably all year and maybe this decade. I don't know. So obviously thanks to the Havliks for being on here. Thank you for being our race car friends out there in the world. Hit the share button as we do this. And then also thank you to our sponsors for being such a big part of this program that we call Drag Drive Repeat, Summit Racing, Molly Motorsports, Driven Racing Oil, Car Chains 3D, WAF Racing, Performer Built Transmissions, Howard's Cams, Sweet Patina, Racing Junk Classifieds, and Power 2. We couldn't do any of this stuff without them. So I want to say thanks to them as well. Okay, let's talk about Keith's cars, because dude, these things are like, give us the backstory of what all had to be done to these cars, because it looks to me like there's different style power plants in these. I mean, obviously one has a blower on it, and the others were nitrous cars, maybe.
Yep. Yeah, Bertha 2's blowing alcohol. The other ones are nitrous cars, but
nice.
I mean, I don't even truly know the last time that most of them have run. To be honest with you, I know Bertha. Keith got Bertha running for me when we were down there here, I don't know, a year or 2 ago. So Bertha was up and running, but the other ones, and we haven't actually talked about what actually all went into that, because we just haven't had time. He hasn't had time, but he sent me pictures of the whole front end off of Scott Long's car, and they're changing fuel lines, tires, I mean, pumps, and all kinds of stuff on 4 cars, and I mean, I just to have him there was special, to see him drive down the track. I mean, you can't be hard on these guys because like Keith's father was in the hospital for 2 or 3 months of that whole ordeal, and like his kids had just went to college, and all of them like left him. Most of them left, and they're in college in Tennessee, and they were driving back and forth from Tennessee on the weekends to help him. And I mean, he got all 4 cars running in like the last month and a half. Like honestly, like it was
a massive team effort.
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, I can't imagine the thrash on 1 car and then to thrash on 4. Oh man.
Yeah.
Right.
And then tell us how they got to the track, because that's another story in itself. Like, because I mean, obviously he doesn't have a 4-car hauler to haul these.
Right. Well, Bruce Polis, he used to race with Keith back in the Nostalgia Pro Street days, and they're great buddies ever since. And once Bruce found out what was going on, Keith called me up one afternoon, and he's like, "Oh, I got something I got to tell you." And he's like, "I'm not bringing 2 cars." And I'm like, "What?" And then he starts giggling, his little grin, goofy like laugh he does when he's goofing off, and he's like, "No, we're bringing 4." And he tells me that Bruce called him up behind the scenes, and Bruce's car wasn't ready, so Bruce was like, "Hey, I'm taking my vacation, and we're taking our stacker all the way from Chicago." They drove all the way to Florida, picked up two of the cars, and then they caravan back up here to Iowa, and then did it all back over again to get them all back. I mean,
wow,
that is a hero right there.
Yeah, that's super cool, because I can't imagine, like, he lives kind of close to Jason Schaefer, and so I can't imagine the distance from Chicago there. I mean, it's got to be like 14, 16 hours in a regular car. So, 18 or 20 in a semi.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're not the best roads when you get around Tennessee. Trust me, I know.
Yeah, there's whole other stories on that we haven't
gotten into yet. Well, and when the purple one came up and did a full quarter-mile burnout, Mike and I just stood there and stared at each other because neither one of us were recording. We're like, "Are you kidding?"
Man. I mean, that was the excitement, man. Like those guys, they laid the law down back then. It was big smoky burnouts, and that's what we wanted to see that again. I mean, that's awesome entertainment for the crowd. I mean, I was real glad Keith got the chance to do that. I know he wanted to run one, but he just didn't feel safe, with them just getting out like that to make a full 4-mile pass. But that burnout, that was Monty smiling up above. I guarantee you, right there. That was good.
It was like it was like burnout. And I was like, I'm not recording.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, you had time to turn it on. You could have got something.
Oh yeah, dude. It had to be. I don't know. It had to be 1,000 foot. It was wild.
It was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, that was amazing. We'll definitely have to ask for that again next year and hype that up quite a bit. And maybe it was, maybe it was being hyped. I don't know. We just the acoustics there at the track, you can't hear anything at the starting line.
Let's touch on that. You want to give that a shout? Why
the speakers didn't work? Yeah, I mean we heard that from a few people. Towards the end of the day, we didn't know a lot that was going on. Obviously, because we were running around, but we did come across a few people that said that the speakers were really hard to hear, and then you couldn't hear them, they weren't working or whatever. Well,
in different areas.
Yeah, and when we talked to the track, they told us that Al Tucci blew the speakers up.
No way, not that dude.
Yeah, so I mean, Al gets into it. I mean, that's why we wanted him there. That's why we hounded him. And finally he committed, and that was just as important a piece as all these iconic racers to have him there. And Tri-State's equipment couldn't handle it, basically. And
they couldn't handle the Al Tucci effect. It was
that whole front row up there by the staging lanes, you couldn't. I mean, it was horrible down there. But
I've been watching it. I've been watching the Bang Shift live stream back today of the event, and man, those dudes. It's like, Adam and him are talking, and then it's whoosh, right to the moon on volume. It's awesome.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's part of what made it exciting back in the day. Like, I mean, you never knew it was coming out of Al's mouth, and it was just, I mean, just a character, man. Just a great guy to like have a conversation with. You'll be rolling for sure. Like if you talk to this guy, I mean, he's good stuff.
Well, let's talk about the Unlimited class. Obviously, lots of cool stuff happened in Unlimited. Obviously, having Bryant Goldstone there, that dude's been on a rip all year. Matt Frost, Royce Payton, love seeing the Nightmare Mustang out and about. And then Jason Hurley, those guys, man, just absolutely laid down the law. It was awesome to watch that all weekend. Big shout out to Matt Frost, the Hulk. One of the first times that car has been out, I think he said since last year maybe, or had made a pass since February or something like that. It was a long time, but he ran his best 60 foot in that car and his best 8th mile in that car.
Yep.
So pretty awesome. And then Jason Hurley obviously getting his first 6-second pass. Dude, talk about the coolness with that. There's a video that's dropping again later tonight from him experiencing that. Eric and I were down at the end. That's where this photo came from. This is actually his 698 at 210 miles an hour. Obviously, he's fought to try and get into the 6s for 3 years in that car. I mean, and to get it there in front of I think he said he had 100 people that were part of like his family lineage somehow that were there. It's awesome.
Yeah, his support crew, or not crew, but like fan club was amazing.
Yeah.
They took pictures afterwards, and like they're literally like a whole section of the bleachers. I mean, it was
There's like a picture of them all around the car too, and it's like you can barely see the car.
It looked like a no prep race.
Starting line at Yellow Belly down there, I'm telling you. Yeah, man, it was cool to see that. Now,
there was a lot of personal bests at first. I mean, a ton of records set by a lot of these racers.
Yeah, there's been a bunch in the comments tonight already. People have mentioned that.
Yep. I think Rob Sinker was one of them. Maybe got his first 7 or something like that. And then, Doug Needle. That car's super fast. 865 is so cool. Oh, wow. I didn't know the chemists had a personal best for the notch. That's great. Yeah. They had just made updates to that car to go from single 76 to twin 76s. So they were working through all of that as well.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, it was a good day. I mean, beautiful weather, and you couldn't really ask for more, really. I mean, Tri-State did their job and got the track hooking. I mean, they had their work cut out for it. It was cold that night, so they started with a cold surface that morning. And I mean, after that second prep there, where they finally started getting some heat in there, and I mean, the guys were just laying it out. It was awesome.
It was really impressive, dude. It was really fun to watch. And I made the mistake of I haven't updated my scooter yet, so I walked all the way down to the end of the track, and man, it was worth it. It was one of the nicest tracks. The scenery is beautiful. That shot, like especially like this here that Eric has up on the screen now, it is it's just cornfields, man. But in this little track, just cut out of it, it's amazing. It's a beautiful spot. So I'm glad that was your home track.
Jason said the final count of family members was 68.
They look like 100.
Yeah. He said, not sure how many friends were there, but I'm telling you, there was another 100 friends there. Just in the Rocky Mountain Race Week Colorado group over there, man. You had Tony Latimer. They had the white Camaro. They had Adam Crago was over there. Matt Frost was over there. Nico was there. I mean, there was a ton of people there.
Yeah,
there was quite a convoy that came from Colorado.
Yeah, the Colorado guys were awesome. Yeah, I mean, Joe Barry was there. I don't know if you guys ran into him.
Yeah.
He was there wandering the pits, and I beat him up all year. I wanted Joe there because I knew a lot of his friends were going to be there. I mean, it was just right for him to be there, and I'm so glad he came.
That's awesome. What was the comment you had there? Oh, go ahead, Brian.
Well, while we're talking about Joe, since he was there, Joe came up to us, and he said he wanted to be the first one registered for next year. So that's your number one guy right there, Joe Barry.
That's awesome.
Nice.
And then we're gonna call Rieger's car number 2. So which is ironic because like Joe Barry's car and this car were built down at Bickle next to each other at the same time.
Oh,
Wow.
cool.
There's a lot of history between those two cars that is pretty cool too. So
That's awesome.
But all right, sorry, I got you off track.
No, that's all right. No, dude, hey, this whole thing's gonna be off track all night long. I sent over a whole bunch of stuff earlier to these guys, and I was just like, mainly this is so I can keep up with what I need to ask.
Trackside Media says, "Do we want to talk about how Jesse blew the tires off the car and still won?"
Yeah, we can.
Let's beat up on Brian now.
I was just trying to keep it interesting. You know, we set out to have a heads up race, and I honestly, you know, between me and him, it don't matter who wins. But at the end of the day, that was a perfect example of heads up racing. It doesn't get any better than that. You know, it's not over till it's over. You know, and if you don't give up and you fight till the end, you never know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A lot of people were confused because like Tri-State's normally like a bracket racing track, so everybody's used to brackets running their numbers. Well, they're like, well, how did Jess beat you if you ran faster? You know,
because I blew by him at 170 mile an hour.
Yeah. I was like, man, I got him. And then like if there was a photo line finish, man, to me it looked like nothing. I mean, I swear to God he didn't win, but like he blew by me. Like,
yeah. Jesse's throttle position sensors like 105%.
I'm pretty sure there's a dent in my firewall. I'm pushing on the pedal because I was once I got it to stick. I mean, I was coming, and I could tell I was coming, but I didn't know. And then all of a sudden, it just we switched, and he was behind me.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I want to give another shout out to Troy Lacrone in the Camaro. There, he had a personal best as well, and he won Pro Street, right?
Yeah, Pro Street. Pro Street. Yep.
Yeah, tons of personal bests all weekend. So really cool. That's just one of the other notes I had there in my stuff. So, man,
that's a beautiful car. Like Troy's a great guy. Like,
that car is the paintwork on that. Wow, yeah, lots of hours in sanding in that car.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean that's a great example of the Fastest Streetcar Shootout early years. I mean that's a traditional back half car. I mean that's great. I mean that car. I mean it was inspired by all these other ones. So great to have them there. That was awesome and a personal best. That's congrats. Yeah.
Do you guys by chance have the winners listed somewhere? I know there was a lot of photos and things like that taken. I just didn't know if there was a spot I could go grab those and we could run down through that list.
You can go on our Facebook page. We have a post there that has it all listed.
Yeah, scroll down a little bit. It'll have the four class winner pictures.
I think you sent it to me, Mike.
On it.
Yeah. Well,
starts that way.
Yeah. The world champ.
Yeah.
Dave's fast friend.
Yeah.
Dave was supposed to be here. Armentrout, you better be here next year.
Oh yeah, that dude better get there.
Bonneville, and he had called me and said he had converter issues. And I mean, there's actually, don't feel bad, Dave. You weren't the only one. There's probably almost 40 cars that these guys either blew up their motors, rolled their cars. I mean, like these guys were taking it seriously, trying to get stuff ready to come to let it hang out. And unfortunately, like a lot of them, there's quite a few like awesome cars that didn't make it just because of the one thing or another. But like these guys were trying. Frank Romano, he said he hurt the motor the weekend before testing. And that Jamon Hogg, is it Han? Jamon down in Home Record Motorsports, like he blew up the supercharger the weekend before testing, and then couldn't get another one. I mean, there was a ton of that stuff, which is unfortunate, but still had a great show. But next year, hopefully everybody's going to be a little bit more ready. I mean, we sprung this on everybody early, so it was a thrash for everybody to make it there. So.
Right. Well, let's run through these winners real quick and kind of talk a little bit about them. Your post on Facebook, I found, it says, "Congratulations to all the winners of the first annual Havliks Fastest Streetcar Shootout and Tribute Race this past weekend. All first place racers received the NHRA Wally." I don't think we talked about that much at all. Courtesy of Tri-State Raceway, and then all runner-up received 50% off of a set of Mickey Thompson tires. So tell us how the Wally thing come up, because that's pretty amazing to do that, dude.
Yeah, well, Tri-State has a Wally race every year. And back when I used to do some bracket racing, it kind of was something that, you know, I paid attention to. But when we did this, we asked them basically if you know, if that was possible, and they made it happen. And I mean, that's basically all there was to it.
Yeah, I mean, that was all Tri-State getting them made, and
Yep.
got them all there for the event. You know, so
Yeah.
that was kind of their contribution to the event.
That was super cool. Delta Pag sponsored the Unlimited class. Brian Goldstein won that on his Rampage through 2024 season.
Yep. Yeah, John was the first guy on board that believed in us.
Yeah,
and
awesome.
we can't thank him enough. Like,
yeah, I pretty much had a conversation with him one night on the phone, because we're actually helping him with a project of his too. But
cool.
I said, "Hey, we're going to put on a race," and he's like, "Okay, I'll sponsor it." And it was done.
He's like, "What's the fastest class? That's the one I want."
Yeah,
Yeah, I love that guy.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. Second place, obviously, in that one is Jason Hurley. Dude just laid down, I mean, pass after pass all weekend. It was pretty cool to watch him do that as well. Sorry, Eric. I took those off the screen a second ago. Apologize about that. And then the Summit Racing third place unlimited was Matt Frost. Now, that car, I don't think I said it earlier, but his best ET to the eighth is a 410 at that race. That's pretty salty. I can't wait for this car to get back out, and I hope he was using this as some groundwork for drag week.
Sure.
So, Fast Times Motorworks, the Outlaw 10.5 winner, Ed Inzer.
Yep.
That's, man, one of the coolest cars that's out there. That's
it is such a clean car, and I mean, it runs too. Like, Ed's serious. That guy is like, he don't mess around. Him and his buddy Jimmy Lopez, like, them guys are a force to reckon with for sure.
Yeah, he said that they were testing in Martin just a couple weeks ago. Well, or at the not testing, they were racing at the Sixth Magazine NMCA deal, and so NMRA, whatever it is, and said so that car went 711 and then a 712.
Yeah.
Like in the right air, that car's going to go sixes.
Oh yeah. That's a very, very impressive car.
Yep. Runner up for the Outlaw 10.5 class, Jeff Fry. I don't remember what car he raced. And then,
the 63 Nova. I think it was 63 Nova.
Yeah, the
sweet,
kind of
like
steel
metal
looking one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the bare metal. Yeah, that's gorgeous. And then Rob Sinker took third place in that class, which is awesome. And he ran a 798 to give you an idea of the kind of times for that.
Yeah, and that was his personal best. I think that he ran a personal best too. Rob did.
So.
Yep, Rob did.
There's so many of them, we can't keep track.
Yeah, I mean,
right. We need to keep that list down. We'll write that from our notes here and send that over to you guys, and then we'll reach out to some other folks too. See if we can get you guys a full list of PBs for everybody. The Hot Rods by Havliks Nostalgia Pro Street. Now, this doesn't sound like a class you guys would put on at all. Nostalgia Pro Street. Troy won that one. Troy Lacrone, we talked about in the Camaro a minute ago, and then Nostalgia Pro Street runner-up Matt McReynolds in that El Camino, that flat black big block twin turbo El Camino. That car gets down, dude.
Well, he was a big help with Keith's cars too when Keith first got him there, because Bertha with the alcohol injection, he actually went over and helped Keith get that sorted out, so you could drive it, you know. And he actually drove it out on the track for him when we did the picture.
Yeah.
So, nice.
Which was cool. Yeah.
Another
example of the racers just coming together to, you know, make it something special.
Right. And then third place in Nostalgia Pro Street, Rob Seaton, in probably one of the coolest third gens that was there for sure. That car, is as nice as anything that was on the property. I mean, the paint was beautiful. Big block nitrous car, super cool.
Show car.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Super Street, Racetronic Super Street is winner Mike Kimmis. Love the Kimmises, Mike and Marlena. I saw Marlena in here making comments earlier in what is most likely my favorite Fox body to have ever been built. This car just sits absolutely perfect. And again, we talked about them running a personal best. That car went 821.
Yeah.
Crazy fast out of that car. Go from 860s to 820s. Pretty awesome. But they doubled the turbo size. Runner up in that class, Keith Lankor. I don't know what car he raced though.
No, that's Silver Nova, like 70s body style.
Yep.
Nice.
He was on our
event, the banner on the left side
with the
nitrous.
Oh, gotcha. Yep. Love that car. And then Bill Schwartz running third place out of the Super Street, getting the $500 Summit Racing gift card there. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You got a couple notes here. Al Tucci certified. What's that?
Yeah.
So all the awards that that it says Al Tucci is certified, they were awards that were chosen by him. I mean, we came up with the award, but he selected the winner of all them awards.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Their award actually has that stamped on it, Al Tucci certified.
Gotcha. So I took my space at the wrong spot. So the first Al Tucci certified award goes to the Mickey Thompson Best Burnout with a free set of Mickey Thompson tires. That goes to Keith Roberts.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
probably for the purple car.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, he wasted them on that one burnout. So
yeah, I mean, hey, listen, if you're going to get a free set, you better just get to it.
I mean, for the spirit of things, that was like perfect.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was the coolest ever. It was cool. The next Al Tucci certified award here goes to the biggest wheelie, sponsored by Trackside Media. Mr. Nick Cryer in the dairy van, the Divco milk truck, dude.
Yeah, Al just had a hoot with that. He was he had milk truck stories, and he loved that. That was cool. I mean, it is cool.
And it put on a clinic, man. It's like, this is how you do wheelies. This is how you ride wheelies. This is how you look doing wheelies.
Yeah, he actually raced one of our local competitors. That's a longtime race friend of ours, Matt, in his that '63 wagon, and the picture with both of them up. That was really cool.
Yep. Yeah, I can't wait to get back into some of my videos. I think I got that on camera. So my plan for our footage from us, Eric has edited about a third of the photos he has, maybe almost half.
No,
and
not even close.
Not even close. And he's posting those up. And then I'm going to do one big long video, and Eric and I will kind of narrate over it and things like that. But it's going to be, I don't know. I took 386 videos with the big camera, so we should have content for days. Last year, Competition Carburation sponsored the Fastest ET, which went to Bryant Goldstone, and then WFO sponsored the Fastest Mile an Hour, which also went to Bryant Goldstone. I think he ran like 227 or something like that.
227, I think, is the fast one.
But ran down into the 640s. I mean, that's pretty salty.
It is. It is. I mean, he's been killing it. That guy's they got a great program, good team. Him, Brian Robbins. Those guys they're gonna be hard to stop. I mean, they're on a run. And one thing that was cool, I mean, some people know whatever, but Brian Robbins, he's a big NMCA guy from some of the earlier years too. And he actually went over and was helping, the local Iowa guy try to sort out his actually Drake Boyer that helped us for a while. That was cool to see him go over there and help Drake get it sorted out so he can make some passes. I mean, that was really cool to see.
Yeah.
Was that this one?
Yep.
That's Drake.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, that car, somebody said that car wouldn't even get up on the two-step when they pulled in.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously they got it working because that car made a great pass. I don't remember what it ran, but it looked good going down and it sounded great up on the two-step.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that was cool to see,
Another personal best here on the Monty 781 at 178.
Nice.
car back halves.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow. That's cool. Well, let's kind of switch gears just a little bit. I want to talk about you talked earlier about the hype that this brought. And obviously when Eric and I think about hype, we think social media stuff. I want to talk about how you handled social media and then how many pieces of content you think you put out.
Well, I'll just say Brian was the one in charge of that. And where I was busy with everything else, but he killed it. I mean, getting it out there, getting it in front of people. I mean, that's a ton of work, and I'm not going to lie. I'm the first one to admit that I don't like doing that part. But that's what makes us a good team, though. I mean, I can handle all the other stuff that comes along with organizing the event and making sure all that stuff's in place and making phone calls and doing all that part. While I mean, he's got just as much time in the social media stuff. You guys know how much that time that takes. Yeah. And I mean, he did kill her, so I'll let him have that one.
Yeah, I just say I'm the monkey with the phone and just does all the important stuff. But yeah, no, I mean, honestly, it was, I tried, for a while, I tried to do it every day and tried to keep up. And then everybody was just going nuts. And like, I mean, every night you could tell where the time zones were. So like, I get all these calls from the East Coast, and then it would be Central. And then, of course, Matt Paris, he's been great through all this, very supportive, but like heard from him a bunch, you could tell, there's like this time, like, I bet you Matt's going to call tonight. Yeah. But it was a lot of work. Lots of like research, just finding people. I tried to contact everybody, personally, whether it be messenger, calling. A lot of these, older car guys, they don't do social media. So like, I mean, you had to use the phone. It was like old school, and which was fun. Cause like, I mean, there was a night I talked to Annette for like almost 4 hours. Like we just got wrapped up in like a passionate, like story session, and she got my story and I got her story. Like I mean, we made a connection that night, probably for sure. Like, she's a fighter, but like just calling all of them. I mean, Jeff Atkins with the Cars Inc. cars, that guy was, I mean, great help. He was actually trying to get Mark Tate's car ready, or the gentleman that owned it. He was trying to buy it, and then he was going to try to get ready to bring to our race, but the deal never went down. And Jeff's, I mean, those two cars that he's got were beautiful and like awesome to have there because they were ready to run and they put up a great show. Just like Randy Lambert and Mike Thompson. Like, I didn't get enough time talking to them gentlemen. It's unfortunately just because, I mean, I was literally on the phone either working on social media or talking to these people till I fell asleep at night, like just couldn't go anymore, like midnight, whatever.
And there were a lot of times where we were like, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, we were like two little school kids, all giddy about it because when it all first started off, I mean, there was, people were emailing us, and I was dealing with some of the email stuff. So there'd be times that he's like, I'm gonna go home tonight because I'm gonna need to call this person, this person, this person, and then I'm just waiting for him to text me to say that he's done talking to people, or or he's got some news, because I don't want to interrupt him because I'm getting emails on my phone at home and I'm thinking, oh, this guy wants to come, and we're just waiting, and then we'd collaborate at 11 o'clock at night, and then you can't go to sleep because you're just so excited, and it's like, this is awesome, all these people want to come, and it just
the quality of cars and the guys that committed right out of the gate. I mean, that gave us the confidence to like, we are doing the right thing, and we sent it the best we could and the time allowed, the best we could. I mean, like our banner and stuff. Like Tyler Clark did that beautiful artwork, like in the shirts. Awesome. Like, but we wanted to do that banner for the backdrop. Well, we worked with a few different design places. Couldn't get anything other than like a generic green and blue sky, green grass, and the cars on there. And it was just like, are you for real? Like, I mean, like literally, I just stopped, got my iPhone out, and I'm going this app to this app to this app to this app, and like, I actually made something that looked very similar to that with the artwork from Tyler, but did all the background stuff. But we couldn't get the resolution to the point where they could print it. And thankfully, Tyler, the great guy he is, bailed us out, and he reworked it so like it could be printable. and he kind of redesigned it, jazzed it up, which he did awesome job. The banner was great.
Yeah, it was amazing. There are some great shots.
Wicked graphics.
Yeah. What? Say it again.
Wicked graphics.
Wicked graphics. Yeah.
Yes.
There's some great shots of cars doing burnouts, and I think that banner and behind them is just going to be legendary. I mean, I think it's going to be one of the shots. Like, we're going to talk about this in another 30 years. It's going to be like, man, remember when the Havliks brought that race back? And like, and how much fun that's going to be. It's
we tried to replicate the fuel as much as we could. I mean, Al Tucci wasn't lost. You know, I remember the flags and stuff being flown down when we were down there, and we thought, you know, the crane with the big flag. I mean, we're American guys, and I mean, heck yeah, that sounds like that's what we want. You know, I mean, next year we want that the Tower of Power there. We want flags from all the sponsors hanging from that all the way down.
That'd be cool.
I mean, we got a lot of ideas about next year. So
right, and that's probably the hardest part about being a promoter is, you know, now like the event's over, you've got to get a little bit of rest. But now it's like, oh man, how much more can we do for 2025 that we didn't even know? You didn't even know stuff when you come into 2024. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I mean, we learned a lot. I mean, we definitely learned a lot.
We definitely learned that as a promoter, you don't start an event with only 6 months till the date.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that goes to, like, you know, I mean, our sponsors that jumped on board, like, they're awesome. I mean, like, I mean, even like Rieger's car, I mean, Racetronics gave us all the fuel lines and fuel fittings and all that stuff. And Mickey Thompson hooked us up with tires, and Quick Performance, a whole new gear set and stuff. I mean, them sponsors, they were behind us as much as they could, but most of the sponsors' money it's all appropriated by PRI, you know, and we didn't know that going into it, you know, and like, you know, we had some guys behind us and everything seemed like a go. So like we went with it. We contacted these people, and like, and Summit too, you know, they're like, oh man, we wish we didn't know this at PRI. And then like they wanted to get on board, but the budget just wasn't there. So like they did everything they could to be a part of it. But at the end of the day, like, I mean, it was it was on our shoulders.
Yeah, we've kind of did it backwards. We planned a race and put it out there, and then we went for sponsors. But one reason why was that at the end of the day, we were doing this no matter what. I mean, this is something we wanted to do. You know, whether we paid ourselves a little bit more or we put money into doing something that we wanted to do, it was the same thing in the end. So, you know, I mean, we appreciate everybody that got on board and helped out as much as they could, but next year's going to have to be different if we're going to do what we want to do. So hopefully they're all watching this right now, and they're as excited as we are, and they want to see more, and they want to get involved, because I think we can make this, you know, a bigger staple.
You want us to hint what we're thinking?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll tell you tomorrow.
Well, I mean, this is going to take all the racers, and it's going to take some good sponsors to make this happen. You know, it will happen. We're guaranteeing one race is going to happen next year for sure. This is happening again. But we've had a lot of racers contact us, and they're like, we want to see a series out of this. And so is what we're thinking, you know, how about we do an East and a West shootout, and then that qualifies you for the final shootout back here.
Yes,
sweet.
And we want to do something that'll be, we're not going to let that one out of the bag yet, but there's going to be something that's going to pertain to just the drag and drive community for them at the final also.
Yes.
Wow. How cool.
It's all
breaking news.
It's breaking news, but keep it a secret.
Okay.
You know, I mean, there's a lot that's got to go into it to make it happen. There will be one race next year for sure, guaranteed.
Yeah.
Them details will come out, you know, as soon as we can. But at the end of it, there hopefully will be sponsors on board that can help us make this happen for everybody.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, we need the sponsor. We need the racers that want to be a part of this to like contact us. Let's get you on a list. As we get things progressed, we're going to contact you and start registration as soon as we can.
Yeah, because we already have people emailing us that didn't register this year that are wanting on a list to register next year.
Right.
Well, and here, for people to understand why that is so important, is you can take that list of racers and you can go, hey, this is what we did for 24. These are the racers that we already have signed up for 25. We need that sponsorship money so we can provide a better race, or we can provide 3 races, or we can do whatever. But yeah. If you guys are interested at all that are out there watching this or listening to this later on the podcast, just hit them up. What's the email they can send to, or do we send them to hotrodsbyhavliks.com?
They can email us at contact@hotrodsbyhavliks, or they can call the shop number too, 319-826-2066. We're here by 7 a.m. every day, Monday through Friday.
Sometimes Saturday, Sunday too.
Yeah. Don't call on Saturday or Sunday. They may answer the phone.
Yeah. We got caller ID, so we do.
But yeah, I mean, that's what this race was. I mean, between the racers coming together and then the sponsors helping out as much as they could, it made it possible. And without everybody coming together like that, we couldn't do it.
Well, and we had so many racers that traveled so far. I mean, we had racers that were registered out of Arizona. Those are a couple of them that didn't come. But I mean, from everywhere, from 44 hours away, the Canadians drove all the way down here to come to a one-day race. That's awesome. And if we can do something that gives some of these racers, maybe they might not come out to the finals, in the Midwest or something. But if we can get closer to them, a lot of these more cars are going to come out, and they're going to come out and play just for even just that one. But they may end up qualifying for the final. Who knows? How it all works out. So
it's amazing what happens when racers get around other racers and there's racing going on. They're like, oh man, I will go out to that event.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah, I mean, we're still in the works trying to put all this together. So I mean, one is going to happen. The other two would be awesome, but like we need everybody to come on board to make that happen. And I mean, let's make Heads Up Racing great again. I mean, that's
right. I'm telling you.
Let's do it. I mean, we're obviously all in, so
you're committed already, or it should be committed. One of
and something I want to talk about too. I mean, Rocky Mountain Race Week was a sponsor of the event too, and Matt Frost was obviously there supporting, and we can't thank him enough because I mean he's had some good info, like just kind of you guys are doing good. I mean, it's great to hear that encouragement from somebody like Matt. We really set up our race to run like kind of how Matt does his. I mean, Matt is in there. He's making sure the racers are right. And I mean, like that was kind of like
he's personal. He's personal about it, and that's what we all want that.
I was floored when we went to Race Week in 2020 when we took the giveaway car with Beck, like how that was run. Because like, I mean, I've been there for dang near the first, it was 06 drag week. I won't say the first, but pretty close. First Midwest Drags, first Race Week, first Sick Week. I mean, I've been like to all those first major ones, and like he really puts his heart into it, and you can tell. I mean, it's not that the other ones ain't any better. I mean, like Tom does a great job with all the sick things. He's got great help behind him, so like he gets to enjoy it a little bit more than we do. But no, I mean together. If we're strong, we're stronger together. Like I mean, we all 100%. Need each other to make this go where it should go. I mean.
Yeah, one thing I did notice is that Brian never got on a golf cart, but I saw him everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see
I'm not allowed to run the golf cart.
That's how he's so skinny.
Yeah, I would love to see the step count from Saturday. I bet it was way up there. It's tens of thousands, probably close to 20.
I mean, I was running, like apologizing to people because like I couldn't stop because I was doing everything I could to make sure everything was moving and things were going smooth. There were hiccups. I mean, there was things we did wrong. We learned a lot, but
I don't know. Everybody seemed to be having a good time when we were talking to them.
Yeah, I mean, the response we've gotten from people is amazing. I mean, I can't thank everybody enough that's reached out and just you know, either personally or on Facebook or, you know, just whatever, just to say thanks and they loved it. I mean, you never can hear that enough.
Yeah.
But it's not expected either. But thanks to all them guys that did that. And that drives us to do it again.
It does.
And it tells us that they want it again also.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, Annette pulled us to the side afterwards, and she's like, she wants to be a big part of it next year. And
that's great.
She's taking her car and getting it updated and certified, and she's coming to fight with the boys. So watch out.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it lit a fire under a lot of these guys with the exhibition cars. Yeah. I mean, they're all going home, and they were all talking about, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. Next year, we're not running exhibition, we're racing.
Yeah,
you know, we're entering classes.
I mean,
you know,
I feel bad for them because like they all got thrown under the bus with no time to get these cars ready, and they went out there. They did the best job they could, and I commend them for that.
Yeah.
But like next year, I mean, I expect to see a few things turned up a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's talk about the first race because that was a big one. Randy Lambert's car was gorgeous. Looked amazing, that Impala, the yellow Impala, big block nitrous car. Who did he race in the first one? And talk us through that process of like, why did those guys go first and how that came about?
So I mean, first off, I just want to say that this was one of the best parts of the event, I feel. I'm so proud that I got to kind of organize that and start it off. You know, Randy Lambert was one of the originals. I mean, he wrote the rules for Super Street with David Freiberger. You know, I mean, they on paper too, and he still has copies of it. I'm hoping one day he'll let me touch it so that I can, you know, kind of read through it. But you know, when we thought about it, I mean, there's things with these guys that we will never be able to ever replace, enjoy like they did, because they got to do it from the beginning. And he was one of the originals. His best buddy is Mike Thompson. They've raced together forever. That was the orange Chevelle.
He did the big straight up wheelie back in the
I mean, that car's had the frame rails replaced in it because it's done such massive wheelies that it just bends it up. And you know, I mean, that those two guys, you know, are iconic racers that started some of this, you know, from day one. And I just felt like those two should be starting it off. And, you know, Mike Hayden, we asked him to say prayer. He was all about it. I mean, he was, you know, ecstatic that he was able to do that. So, you know, we're setting up the prayer. And then Jeff Wright, long time friend, used to work with him years ago and just have always been a good friend. He's always been supportive of what we do here. And I mean, I can't thank him enough for coming out there and putting his voice on the line to sing what, you know, is one of the greatest songs in the world. And to belt it out like he did and to have them guys in the burnout box ready to go. You know, my wife was in the tower waiting for me to give her the signal to tell them to start. I mean, it was orchestrated, and I mean, it was so fun. It was so awesome. I mean, I couldn't have gotten to do something different that would have made me more happy that day than to be the prayer of the anthem to the first race of lighting them babies up and letting it go, you know. I mean, and they did. I mean, they ran a quarter mile. They were ready to go. I mean, they were pumped about it too, because like I emailed them both before the event. And I'm like, hey, would you guys be willing to do this? And you would have thought they were both sitting at their computer just waiting, and it was like, boom, yes. I mean, they were ready. So that was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, they came to throw down. Like Randy's like, I don't know, I didn't want no passes. He just sent it. You know, just like he used to. I mean, that is cool.
And they both entered classes too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Originally,
Yeah. It was awesome. I truly believe the first race to start an event like that is always that's what's going to set the level, right? So you got to have a little bit. They got to kind of be buddies or rivals, one of the two, and you got to have some hype built around it. And I think you guys did a great job on that. It was an amazing event all around.
Yeah, thanks. It was from the heart.
Yeah. I mean, this was actually a very, very emotional race for a lot of people. There were so many people that I mean, they knew each other and they still talked to each other, but they hadn't been all in the same place for a long time.
Mhm.
Around these cars, reliving what they lived, I mean, that's all they did back then. I mean, they raced and, all that time they spent together, and then now they reunited again. I mean, it was emotional it was emotional for us. I mean, to be the ones that said that we got to put this race on for everybody and bring them back together. And I don't know how to explain it except that, I mean, Al Tucci was crying at the award ceremony. I mean, when's the last time you've been to a drag race and somebody's crying at the awards?
I don't know. That's awesome.
Happened, but it was that emotional.
Yeah.
For a lot. I mean, it's tough to think about some of the things that went on, and it's like, I mean, I don't know. It hit me totally different than what I was expecting.
Yeah.
There was a lot of good things happening there that day.
Yeah, for sure.
That's amazing. Well, we've talked about a ton of stuff tonight. The one last question I do have is, what, as promoters now, as successful event promoters, what are some tips that you would give to other up and coming promoters that want to host events?
All right, we're not promoters. We're just race fans that love this.
Yeah, we're racers putting on a race for racers.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, I guess we probably are promoters, I guess, because that was what title would come with somebody that puts on an event. But at the end of the day, that wasn't what it was about. We weren't going after this to start another business and become, promoters that take over all the events. And that's not what we were trying to do. We were literally trying to do something for me and Brian
to help the track out,
to put on something that was important to everybody and give somebody all these racers a place to race that was heads up racing and have a good time. Now, is it going to grow into something that hopefully is bigger? Yeah, we hope it does. I mean, from the interest we got back. So I guess, we're moving into being promoters and fabricators.
I mean, our job title is like social media fabricator. I mean,
we're at the end of the day, we're still just Jess and Brian.
Yep. But to go back to the pointers, don't start a race and expect to do it in 6 months.
Yeah.
That's the first thing don't do. And do your research on everything you should be doing. And
get sponsors before the race.
Yep. Sponsors before the race would be good too.
That's always good.
What else? There's
you can't overplan.
Just had 58 people on hand to help out that day because we were paranoid. We didn't know what was going to happen, and Jess is always prepared.
Yeah.
So
and 58 of them people. I mean, out of all them 58 was probably only a couple of them were friends, which we consider them family. The rest of them were family. I mean, from both sides of our family to everybody being there to help. I mean, we had to turn people away because it was getting to the point that it was like, okay, this is getting expensive to buy everybody a staff shirt and stuff like that, But we were going to do it if we had to. But at the end of the day, we had more than enough help. But I mean, with that family there, I mean, that they needed to be there too. They were just as important to being there, supporting us, seeing what we're doing, getting a taste of that. And we couldn't have done it without them either.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We're still learning.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, listen, if you don't, the funny thing is, as time goes on and you begin to watch these videos and see these photos and all the stuff that comes out, you'll be like, oh, yeah. Like our Circuit 2025 notes are already almost double what the Circuit 2024 notes pays was.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh, yeah. A person here would be great. A person there would be great. If we did it like this, it'd be even better.
One thing I wished about all this, there was so many good thrashes and like the effort. Thomas Healy? Is that how you say his last name? With the blue Chevy 2 with the flames on it. I mean, that's a car from back in the day. Like that guy was sending me updates, just murdering it. And I mean, awesome. If somebody would have got some of the hero stories that happened, there's so many of them. I wish we had time that we could talk about it. But I mean, that's the only unfortunate thing that kind of got missed on this deal. That I wanted to get out there, just I couldn't. I tried what I could when I could, but I didn't get enough of the heroes out there that were really out there.
It's just, unfortunately, there's just not enough time in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, I
Even
mean,
though we're the home of the
it truly
27-hour
is.
workday, we could use a couple more.
Right.
That's awesome. Well, y'all listen, stay with us. I wanna talk backstage, but Eric and I are gonna shut the show down. Again,
Sure.
thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Thanks
If
for having us.
everybody hasn't already followed Hot Rods by Havliks, please do that. It just helps them bridge that gap, get more people out there in the world to know who they are, but also to know about this race. I mean, this is a turning point in cool car culture for sure.
Yes.
And I appreciate you guys doing that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us on. We greatly appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thanks,
you bet.
thanks to everybody else that tuned in and watched us.
Yeah, for sure.
Anytime there's some news or updates or anything like that, please, we'll bring, even if it's for 5 minutes, we'll bring you on and we'll update some stuff. I think there's so many
Sure.
people that are in the world that are going to be coming for this event that they're going to be watching everything they possibly can. So,
Yeah.
all right, hang tight with us. Let us get this thing shut down, and then we'll
Sounds good.
we'll talk backstage.
Sounds good.
Awesome, dude. What a fun night. Oh my gosh, man. How crazy
yeah.
was that?
I mean, it was almost as much fun as being at the event itself. I mean, the event
Yeah.
was incredible. Hearing their stories were incredible. It was a good time.
Well, and to know now we know kind of how it all came about, and to know they did that in 6 months. I mean, that's crazy town.
Yeah,
'Cause
impressive.
yeah, the track may come to you and go, "Hey, we got this weekend," but dude, that literally that 42 seconds is the shortest, most chaotic moment ever. And then you take it and turn it into one of the best events that we'll see this year. I'm glad we both went. It was really amazing to see that, and we're going to look back on that and be like, man, we were there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's
Absolutely.
going to be really fun. Yeah, 386 big camera videos. I got 400 pictures and videos on my phone. I mean, Eric took
3100. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I hope the documentation, the cool thing about the documentation for that side of stuff nowadays is going to be how much bigger is that going to help make it, in the coming months or in the coming years, as you go along there. Cause, Trackside Media, I mean, they did a great job. 3,000 pictures. There are tons of videos that they took at the event. And, obviously the official media sponsor for the whole event, they did a great job. So, guys,
Yep.
let's send this thing out. I want to talk to those guys for just a few minutes, and then we'll get to it. Guys, we can't say thank you enough. Thank you for being our race car friends. Race car friends to us are what we've talked about all night long. It's we work hard trying to bring all these stories and all this stuff to you guys, and then we want to put it in your lap and share it for us. We appreciate that. It really makes a big difference when I'm working late and Eric's working late, and Eric's got a full-time job and a family and all that stuff. And when we end up, coming in here in this room and talking for 2 hours with folks and spend 6 or 8 hours writing this show for this, you guys make the biggest difference. So thank you to all of our race car friends that are out there. If you haven't done it yet, subscribe to the channel, follow wherever you're watching us right here, and help us grow. We're almost at 100,000 followers or subscribers or whatever across all of our channels. We're so close. We'd appreciate you guys getting us there. It's just a steady little climb that we got going on. And of course, our sponsors, they make all the travel and all the equipment possible. So we appreciate Summit Racing, Driven Racing Oil, Molly Motorsports, Car Change 3D, WAF Racing, Performer Built Transmissions, Howard's Cams, Sweet Patina, Racing Junk Classifieds, and Power Tube TV. We can't do it without all those guys and you. So thanks again, guys. We'll see you soon.
Yep. See ya.